Good evening everyone. So it's Monday the 26th of August, about 5:30, the end of day one of my jogle attempt. It's run from John O'Groats to just short of Latheron, staying at this place you can see behind me called Force of Nature, which a friend of mine recommended. So I got here just after 3:30, had a cold shower, and trust me, when I say cold shower I mean a cold shower. But it's really helped me. It's prevented me from stiffening up. Just walk it around a little bit. Just thinking outside, enjoying quite a scenic view ahead of us. Just a long garden. Generally felt good. It's just while it's all fresh in my memory, just going to recap on today. So I set off bang on 7 o'clock from the sign at John O'Groats, and first I'd say 13 miles were just really good. It was hazy to begin with, weather-wise. Then once the haze lifted, the sun came out. The sun was always to my left, as was the North Sea, but never too warm. And the first 13 miles up until the junction with the road that leads to Thurston Wisk was pretty pleasant. Very little traffic. And what traffic was coming towards me, a lot of the drivers I noticed, who must be used to people walking or running jogle, would take a wide berth to allow me to stay on the road. Unfortunately, after I ran through Wick, which is about 18 miles, so I got to Wick just short of 16 miles, stopped at Tesco's to eat, ran through Wick, made use of the fact that I had a pavement to run on again, and about 18 miles to pretty much the end, 15 miles of really frustration really, because every time I started running again I could see oncoming cars, and it seemed to be that every time the oncoming cars came to us, there was cars behind us, so I had no option but to step off. Where there wasn't cars coming from behind me, the vehicle owners would generally indicate right to let me know that I could carry on, stay on the road. And the other thing I had to be really careful of was I was stepping off the road, was the fact that it was steep, it was grass, it was very long grass, so I couldn't really see where I was stepping, so there was a risk of turning my ankle, so unfortunately that didn't happen. So it meant that my mile times were slower than I wanted, meant I was probably on my feet longer, but because I didn't run as much as I wanted, and that was purely for safety reasons. Safety has to come first, and it's not worth trying to get up to the pace I wanted if I had to keep stopping and starting. So for safety reasons I had to do that. Tomorrow is going to be very similar, I've been told. Tomorrow is going to be hillier as well. I've got that in good authority from the gentleman that runs this place. Again, a couple of friends have done it before. So tomorrow's going to be more of the same. Where I can run, I will. Hopefully the 7 o'clock start means it'll be a bit quieter again, and then it should pick up again, because I am now on the main stretch of road that heads back to Inverness. So it means it is going to be busier after 9 o'clock and so just got to live with that. But yeah, for about 5 or 6 miles, there's a really nice breeze as well, which kept it cooled down. And then once the breeze died down, I could tell how warm it was with the sun. But fortunately, I had enough water, I had enough food. I had emergency supply of Kendal mint cake, which was good. So dig into that. We've got here, I've had something to eat. I've got a few snacks for later on. The cafe's shut. Owners have been really good. They made me some sandwiches for tomorrow morning, because I'm going to be leaving before breakfast served. So they've kindly made me some sandwiches. There's use of a guest kitchen as well, so I'll be on the porridge in the morning, have a sandwich. Got my water bottle chilling in the fridge. Got some lovely ice cream we can go through now, and catch up on social media, make a few calls. There's a little mini library here, so going to this thing I've never really done before. I'm going to find a book and just read a few pages of it, and if I like it, then maybe borrow it when I get to the library. So feeling okay, still feeling it's good in a way. It's a bit of a reality check that there's going to be tough days like today. Not necessarily physically challenging, because I didn't run as much as I wanted to. It slowed me down a bit. I did a similar length. In the end, my watch clocked off at 33.71 miles in about 8.5 hours. So that's probably an hour slower than I'm capable of doing 33 miles. I did the Railway Ultra in Telford less than 4 weeks ago, and now that was an out and back on a very quiet road. There's hardly any traffic, and it's pretty flat. That was 33 miles, which I did in 7.5 hours. So that's under race conditions. Race conditions are always going to be quicker than I'm here, because there's so much to think about. There's a lot of bends for the last 7 or 8 miles, so I was really having to listen out a lot for oncoming cars. Not so much cars as trucks as well. I'll try and do a video tomorrow of what it feels like when a truck goes past you at full pelt on the A99. It is actually quite interesting that with a backpack that weighs 6 kilograms on my body weight, that it's a couple of times I thought I was going to go tipping over because the trucks were going past that quick. Obviously, the people have been extremely friendly. A lot of people seem to have a lot of knowledge that jogle is a thing, and a lot of people giving a thumbs up, wave of the hands. One of the interesting things I found today was when I arrived at John and Goods yesterday, I did notice a lot of cyclists, but today it was about 11 miles into my run, so it had been just after 9, maybe just after 10 past 9. A couple of cyclists going in the same direction me on the left hand side of the road. Said good morning to them, and miserable gits, didn't say anything in return. And then I think I only saw 2 more cyclists, because I believe the cyclists avoid using the A99 if they can. I didn't see anybody walking. I saw a couple of runners, but when I got into Wick, I saw 2 runners, and I thought, oh good, I'm catching up with them. And then I realised I was catching up with them because they were heading towards me. They said good morning, that was it. Did speak to one gentleman in a place called Keys, it was about 9 miles in, who asked me how I was getting on, what I was up to, and I told him I was running to Land's End. He asked me if I wanted to come in for some toast and a cup of tea. So that's really nice of him. He's a runner himself, apparently. He does 10 kilometres every day. But I told him I didn't have time. So yeah, it's very friendly at the minute. It's a bit lonely, I have to be honest. There's a lot of traffic and waving to people, but generally there's not many people around. I've seen a lot of cows, I've seen a lot of sheep. I think I've seen a lot of buffaloes. I'm not sure. I think they're buffaloes. They're really hairy. I don't know if they're heifers or buffaloes or bison. Do you get bison in Scotland? But yeah, there's a lot of cattle of some sort. The North Sea was pretty much always to my left, so there's some stunning views. I've been told there's a really, really good view come tomorrow, which I'm going to try and video and capture. But if anybody does want to see pictures, then the best place to do it is on Instagram, which is at Usingh_Bolt, or on Facebook, Usingh Bolt 2019. But day 1 done. I honestly don't feel any different yesterday. Legs ache a little bit, so I put some massage on them before to sleep. I think I'll be out like a light by 9, half 9. This morning I did end up waking up about 3:30, 4 o'clock, which I think was just that nervousness you sometimes get before maybe a longer race than East. I don't think it happens to me before marathons so much anymore, but certainly with this, I think a few nerves were kicking in, and I told myself I wanted to leave by 7. So where I'm staying at the minute is about a 10-minute walk back to the A99. So the plan is just to, as soon as I've eaten, just head out of here about 6:30. So hit the A99 at 6:45 and see how I get on. I'm expecting similar to today, after about 2 or 3 hours when the traffic kicks up. I'm just going to have to be prepared to walk a bit of it, run where I can, take advantage of some downhills that are going to be around tomorrow, and then just see how I get on. Been given a good tip for day 3 about using the national cycle route, which somebody else did mention to me as well. So when I get to a place called Tane, is to head onto the national cycle route, which will take me to Dingwall, which is where I'm staying on Wednesday night. But that's going ahead of myself. I think for tomorrow it is just concentrate on getting to Golspie. Similar sort of distance again tomorrow, about 33 odd miles, and probably be a similar time to today as well, I'd imagine, because it's going to be a very stop-start. But that's just the nature of the first 2 or 3 days of this route. Can't all try and knock 90 to 100 miles off. I have been told by the owners of this place that there's somebody walking the route who passed through here about 3 days ago. Now I'm not sure what route that person's taken, but hopefully maybe I'll catch up to them some point. It'd be nice to catch up with somebody doing something similar this time of year. But yeah, at the minute, still confident. Nice. It ended up being a bit of an easier day today. I'm going to see how we get on tomorrow.